Good Not Nice to me is tough love. Like, go there and feel the pain and deal with it. And you know what? You're going to come out a whole lot better on the other side.
It is the greatest and worst time to be alive. This is Good Not Nice. Join me, your host,
Howdy, g'day, aloha, y'all. This is your brother, Johan Dano.
musician, songwriter, traveler, psychonaut, and above all, your friend. Here to have a chat, add depth to your world and life for inspiring stories, people, everything to expand what it means to live a good life, learning how to move past the old and to embrace the new. Follow me as we learn how to be good, not nice.
So my guest today, Mr. Brad Kennedy, is a legend amongst men. Not only a long time ago, not in a lifetime too far away.
Too God.
Well, he was training people how to ride wild horses and breaking in wild horses for the Outback Spectacular. Not to mention he's a bricklayer. He's managing the yard with all the boys. He's got managing his band, the Wayward Sons, being a father, living on this beautiful, beautiful Gold Coast. So cheers, good to have you on the show, Mr.
Cheers.
Brad.
Thanks for having me, brother.
Brad Kennedy, the
Nice to be
Wayward
here.
Sons. True gentleman, a legend among many people.
Thank you.
What I'd be really interested to discuss is I know what taming wild horses in that time, like
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any knowledge or anything that reflects in life or anything you see with people, like, you know, that you can share, anything that's spaced in your heart.
Oh, absolutely. I learned so much with through horses, like just energy.
Yeah.
You know, there's a big difference between sitting here like this or sitting here like this.
Yeah.
You know, the whole energy shift changes. And if you bring that into an animal that's way less complicated than us
Yeah.
mentally, and follows the feels more, you know.
It's like
you know,
that
if-
kind of
if
like a
you're-
dance relationship, sort of.
Exactly. You know, if you walk up to any living thing
Yeah.
with angst and anger,
Yeah.
or reserve or something, you know, you're gonna get that reflected back on you. You know, so if
I've
you're
seen that with like little pets. My friend would tell me that she's like, if you want to, like, you know, measure like your power, like how to, like, you know, measure your influence, like with little animals, like, you know, if you try to go really high energy, you know, they run away.
Yep.
But if you're really kind, you go down to their level. I mean, you gotta be careful. Some chihuahuas will bite you. You know, you gotta be really careful. Some dogs will bite you. Don't get too close. You gotta know.
well, animals are like people too. They you know, there's
But
always
you-
a bad
you
egg in the
got-
bunch.
Yeah, sometimes you know people's history, but I think at the same time, it's like getting on people's level says something, you know, and especially with an animal, you know, it's like the bigger or smaller you are. I don't know.
Yeah, it's,
But taming a wild horse, that must be a whole different set of challenges.
Well, it depends on what you think a real cowboy is.
one of the
like-
greatest moments I felt is going from having a horse that you can't touch to being on its back having it as almost an extension of yourself. It's literally the easiest way I can describe it is like Avatar.
Yeah.
You know, they're full
Oh,
plug
when
in.
they're
and-
riding those things.
Yeah, it's like it's just you know, just having it everything's second nature. Like it's another, you know, like you're working together. It's yeah. So and it's a big trust thing.
Yeah.
But both ways, you know.
A trust tree in the nest.
I recommend this to everybody. Sit down with little you and imagine little innocent you before you get corrupted by the world. Sit down and hug yourself and let yourself know that it's gonna be all right. You know, I mean, I sat down and I wept because I was like, you know what, little man, everything's gonna be all right because I got your back.
Did we just become best friends? Yep.
You know, and
letting go of that inner child
Yeah.
work, as they say, whatever you want to label it as. You know, has that helped you with, you know? And I know you're a father as well. Has that helped you,
Yeah.
I'd say, with that, and also like with the band? There's a lot of things I feel like I see. I don't know, like I'd see like you can you ride wild situations and people out, or some people will be like run for the hills,
We can't stop here. This is bad country.
and this man just goes, all right, let's ride together and let's go down, baby.
The tendency is to push it as far as you can.
yeah, thanks. Yeah, bro, I'll do my best, but I don't know. Like life is meant to be experienced, you know, and I you know, I feel the feels, and I go to the lows, and I go to the highs.
You know, for me, I've worked jobs since I was like, 12, 13 years old, worked sub shop.
Still waiting on that heifer, Julio.
So you were the wild man out on the prairie doing I was dreaming of you, and I was
We're all on
down
the
there
same
working
road.
on
They
the
were
deli
different
and the
places. We're all on the
pizza
same
place.
road.
But just saying, because I remember growing up for me, we were freestyling and stuff there. And there's so much culture to offer in both spaces and places.
Absolutely. There's something to learn in everything, and it doesn't matter if you're washing the dishes or sitting around having a party or something or whatever, a gathering.
There's a book I read, a psychologist friends of mine recommend. It's called Happiness Trap. You ever heard of it?
Have.
Yeah. In the book, I remember I was reading, and he was talking about being really conscious when you wash your hands and doing dishes.
When you're doing everything.
The force is strong with this one.
Yeah. And I remember at that time I was very much in my head, and my friend Greg, he was at the time he was working with the hardened inmates, top level inmates in prisons, and he was a psychologist with them, and
I know what you're doing. I'm Swan.
So and he's telling me, he's like, dude, just consciously wash the dishes, be really present with cleaning, and the more I realized I was present with cleaning, the more I'm like, oh, that feels good, and being really present.
Well,
and
it slows
doing a better job,
slows down the inherent thinking. I think
otherwise I find I'm just trying to clean as quick as I can. I'm not even cleaning it right, and I'm throwing the dishes away. I'm trying to rush through things.
Ned?
So I'm like, as they say, how you do one thing is how you do everything,
Yeah. Well, I think, if you let thought get in the way, it will fuck everything. I mean, there's a place for it. It's like your brain, pick it up and use it when you need it. It's got your back regardless. So, instead of letting it run rampant on you, your thoughts and everything, which most people do.
Yep. It's like the 4th of July, man.
It's like a wild horse, as they say.
Well, it is,
and it's like having that relationship with it. It's like you can't look at your mind as this untamed wild beast.
Fuck you, brain.
It's like
you gotta approach it with that
everything, if you've ever stopped and gone I don't want to think like that. What do I think like that for? It'd be because you're not the thoughts you're thinking. You're the one stepping in going, I don't want to think like this.
Just don't get why you're saying it that way.
Why I'm saying what way?
Because the regurgitation.
Your parents gave you other things that I've been aware of that's coming up in those situations.
Yeah, exactly. But essentially, that's your program. That's
You gotta give the boy a complex.
Well, that's a huge noggin.
the conditioning. That's what's coming out.
Kind of what you believe at that time as well.
Well, it's just how your brain's wired.
Yeah, it's how you view things.
So, whatever situation you're dealing with, you naturally have a response. First you have your intuitive response.
What the heck are you doing?
Which is your most present in the now.
Mammalian or your reptilian brain response.
And after that,
gotcha. The next level, which is
after that, then we have then the thought process comes in, and that directly links to an emotional response, and generally that's related straight away to anything that you've seen further. I think of it like this: your brain is a computer.
Yeah.
Who we are the users of the computer. So if you're not actually using the computer,
Have you tried turning it off and on again?
you're running the program.
And how outdated is
And
your
the pro-
software? When was the
and-
last
yeah,
update?
right.
Have you restarted lately?
And
Does
if
your
you're
brain need washing? If it needs a good
washing,
washing, it's okay. We have lots of people to point you to.
Leader.
sometimes you Control Alt Delete. Sometimes you got to turn it off. Turn it on.
Yeah, Control Alt Delete.
No, but seriously, I think
Have they deleted your browser history?
if you're not using,
would you be worried if somebody showed your browser history?
There's so much porn.
I got nothing to hide.
I got nothing to
I
hide.
got nothing to hide.
So I use VPNs. Wait, I shouldn't say that out loud.
No, but seriously, I think if you're not actually being if you're not being the user of the computer, you're running the program, and that's anything that you've ever heard, felt, seen, or experienced in your whole entire life that just comes out.
Let's not lose our cool. Then we're no better than the machine.
As a response to whatever situation
you're
dealing with.
running Microsoft or Apple. Your call.
Yeah.
Well, but even when that, you're running the application. This is Safari. You're going on Safari in one direction, and it's to your past.
Is it all
with
hail-
the same results as before. Are you
All
looking
hail
forward
Lord.
to it?
Snoochie boochies.
Maybe envision yourself 10 years in the future and giving yourself advice you need to hear now. What would it be?
Stop now.
Start now. Yeah.
Don't don't put it off. Like, you know, everyone's got an excuse. There's always a reason to be able to put something off. But
There's always fires happening.
If you feel it, get it, whatever it is. You know, be true to yourself. Know yourself enough to be true to yourself. Don't be true to an idea that's been handed to you.
Yeah.
Be true to your organic self and stand in your power. Be good, not nice with yourself. And and you know what? And the irony in that is, it is so much nicer.
Yeah, and I always find it's like, even when I you know, there's a lot of jobs I've had that I would say were not the nicest jobs, but they were really good for me.
Yeah,
you know, like,
absolutely, man. Some of my greatest moments have come from my worst experiences.
Looks like you got a little pain behind those eyes.
You know, my greatest realizations, greatest growths, greatest nudges to be more has actually been you, the one that's on the tip of your existence, tip of the spear of your existence. You're pretty much running the program.
Well, it's like I've always said, like,
and that's anything.
You gotta have a space from human doing to be a human being.
The less you do, the more you do.
Absolutely.
And that starts with taking a breath or just being present, like, you know, in this moment, or even now, wherever you are, like, you know, it's like, and like just closing that space to have, like, you know, your own little force field, whatever, this energy, like, you know, it's because this moment right here is all we have.
For tonight, nobody's romantic cause it's too early for dancing, but here comes the music. Warming up.
Thank you.